Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Takeaway Teaching. Before we get started, I'd just like to say thank you for your continued excellence and expertise that you're offering through our remote teaching and learning forum. It's really fantastic, the quality of work that people are producing. It's having an incredibly positive and beneficial effect on our young people during the current situation. So thank you for your continued and tremendous efforts. Equally, I hope that you and your family are all well at this extraordinary time and continue to stay safe and just look after yourselves. So what I wanted to show today is two elements of functionality in Microsoft apps. One is in PowerPoint and the second is in Forms. And I thought these would be two useful tips to just help develop some things around teaching and learning. The first thing I wanted to show you is that you can record slideshows on PowerPoint. And this could be another way of uploading materials to give pupils the opportunity to hear your voice or even see your face. Which I just think is a really, really helpful thing without having to do certain things like put things on YouTube necessarily or use Microsoft Teams. If you're less comfortable or confident with those particular fora, I just think it's incredibly important for pupils to hear our voices. The power of storytelling as teachers is an essential thing, I think, and don't underestimate how much your pupils miss you and your voice, and how that familiar feeling, even if very briefly, even if only once a week, that connection for them can just give them a little bit of a foothold in what was their previous experience and what hopefully will be their experience again before too long. So if you go to Slideshow and then you've got this page, record slideshow here, you just click on that. You can record from the current slide. This is the second slide, or record from the beginning. So I've decided to record from the current slide. This then creates this rather nice forum here, as you can see, and a range of options that it comes to me. So recording is up here. Now, what you can do, which is rather nice, is if you want the pupils to be able to see you, you can put yourself up as a screen over there. So you can therefore wave to people. You get a sense of where the screen space is. And again, just that familiarity and this little picture of you in the corner will continue to talk at people and engage. If you think that is the most horrendous thing you could ever possibly imagine, I like the idea of myself as effectively a disembodied head talking at people. That's the new teaching dream. But if you don't, you can remove it by just going to here and turning the camera off. Record, stop, replay, so you can check things. You can add notes as you're going through. And what this means, pupils won't see this, but what they'll see is they'll see the PowerPoint presentation and they'll hear your voice over it in a normal form. You've got some nice handy things here, a little pen here, which means you can draw squiggly lines, but also indicate things if you're a little more creative than I am. And again, a useful highlighter, which allows you just to pick things out that might be useful. And if you think, goodness, that's not something I wanted to put, there's a little eraser there that you can just click on, which just gets rid of things. So I'm just demonstrating with not much aplomb there. Let's try that one more time. There we go. And we'll just do that one for luck and hope it doesn't go wrong again. So it's a really nice way of helping everyone engage. And again, if you want, you can show them that you're still there and that you're okay too, which again, for pupils, I don't think is a bad thing at all. So that's one thing that you can do. Then the other thing that I wanted to show you is something in Microsoft Forms that I thought would be helpful. Now, when we're thinking about forms, if we look at our quizzes and then the nature of retrieval quizzes. So here I've given my pupils a retrieval quiz each week. I think this is an incredibly useful and important thing to be doing. But let's think about how we can develop this for a bit for them. So if I go to the retrieval quiz itself, and I'd like to see what it looks like for pupils. So here's my preview. And then what I'm going to do is let's just go through the correct answers. Appreciate all of you lovers of Ozymandias and Petrarchan sonnets in general now shouting excitedly at the screen while I go through this. So sorry to do this a little quickly just to get through it. And then when I submit it, so this is what the pupils see when they do a quiz. Now, what I've done though is that each correct answer, or some of the correct answers, I'm able to attach this additional information to, so it gives them some more developed ideas about the question. They're kind of, I suppose, like an Easter egg academically, just giving them some additional extra points. So, for example, if they get this one right, they get some extra definition about the word etymology. Here we're just referencing the 5 pairs of Didum syllable beats, conventionally as iambic pentameter. over here some more detailed information about the Romantics. So I think this is just a useful tool for pupils in terms of giving that bit of extra information, and it's a very easy thing to do. So when you're doing this, if we look at the questions themselves, so how did I do this? Well, you can add this little bit of information in these boxes here, and as you can see here, what it says is when you go up on an answer, display a message to respondents who select this answer. So for example, display a message to respondents who select this answer. So you could add comments for wrong answers. You could add developed ones. So if we just look at this one here, I'm not turning it into the right answer, but just anyone who suggests neo-romantics, actually an 80s pop movement. And that's a joke for those of you like me born in the 1970s who experienced the joy of the new romantics. Obviously useless students, so we wouldn't add that, and again we just don't want that, so just get rid of it. Don't have to add something, but I just think that's a really handy little thing to again, that sense of learning, that sort of almost a little bit of a surprise. And I think it may seem like a small thing, but I think to pupils it's the sort of little valuable details, these kind of extra touches that we can add to make their home learning experience a bit richer, a bit more meaningful, and just a bit more interesting. So as ever, feedback is gratefully accepted. If you have any greater functionality in these areas or have experience in doing these, please send me examples or talk to me about them. I'm always delighted to learn about the wonderful things that people are doing with your, again, as I said earlier, your pedagogical skill and your expertise. Remember to keep things simple with our young people. Rely on the expert things that you do day in, day out when you're in the classroom. Those basic tenets of high quality teaching don't change, do they? If we keep on doing those things, we'll help our pupils get through this with as much learning and knowledge as they possibly can. So thank you for listening, everyone. Look after yourselves, and thank you to all of those who already replied to the weekly check-in. As ever, very, very interesting responses and very, very helpful. And have a good week, and I'll speak to everyone on Thursday for this week's breakfast CPD. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.